Welcome to the clear blue skies and sunshine of Valkenburg for round one of the 2014-15 UCI Cyclo-Cross World Cup. We're here in the south of the Netherlands, down in Limburg, for a sun-kissed alpine-style race here in Valkenburg. Different conditions from last year, that is for certain. And we have, if the earlier races are anything to go by, some great racing ahead of you. Riders and fans alike are soaking up the sunshine here. And we're going to hear very shortly from the UCI's off-road manager, Peter van den Abele.
The new season is exciting. So, of course, we're looking forward to this race. It was a new World Cup event last year, straight elected to the best event, so it means something. It's a great area, so we're looking forward to some great race action, and this as well with the women's race, so women and men. So, of course, during the whole season, despite the fact we only have 6 World Cup rounds, of which 3 are in Belgium, 2 in Holland, and the positive side of the whole story is the fact that we have for the first time a World Cup event in the UK, Milton Keynes, so this will be the hot topic of this season, and we're looking forward to some great racing.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we are going to give you some great racing here. 21 degrees and sunny. I'll just say that again for you. 21 degrees and sunny here at a UCI World Cup Cyclo-Cross. Amazing, amazing weather, and it's given us some pretty fast racing out on the course. Those areas that are in shade, though, are still pretty slippery. It is by no means going to be a straight drag race. Riders are going to be tested to the limit, and we've got a field lining up of some 52 riders from 14 nations. This is the course, starting on the tarmac, climbing up to the shadow of the casino, drops down into the pit and over to the top of the course. That is the very tricky technical switchbacks. A very nasty drop down as well from the casino plaza, which has caught a few riders out. 2.63 kilometers the course, and we'll see them lapping probably around about 5-minute laps. Already today, 2 wins for Belgium in the junior men and the under-23 men, and Katie Compton has taken the women's race for the USA. But are we going to see the Dutch triumphing here? Van der Gaal and Van der Poel both going well. But Sven Nys is back on form as well. Of course, no world champion. Stibar is unfortunately injured, but congratulations to him. He's just got married, so the time off the bike has definitely been well spent by Zev Stinar. Martin Bina, the Czech national champion, leads their challenge. Sven Nys is in there as well. And of course, you look at that Belgium lineup, and now with the change where any rider in the top 50 can ride, we have a big lineup from Belgium. Some 13 riders in there. Ben Burden in there. Bart Wellens. Ben Burden, of course, who's running very strongly in the US. Lars van der Gaal is the defending World Cup champion, also in there. David van der Poel. Francis Moret, winner of a round last year. Fabien Canal as well, who's been running very strongly in the Mountain Bike World Cup this summer. Clement Lotellerie also in there, and Julien Tahamaka for heading up the Swiss Challenge. Philip Valsleben, the World Cup runner-up, didn't take a win last year, but was Mr. Consistency in terms of podium finishes. Jeremy Powers and John Page are heading up the US Challenge. Will they be inspired by the fantastic ride from their three compatriots in the women's race? Enrico Fananzoi, it's the top name really for Italy. Ian Field, the British champion in there, and Angus Edmund representing the land of the long white cloud all the way from New Zealand. And I know that there's going to be some guys sitting up into the small hours of the morning watching the action here down in both in New Zealand and Australia. And if you're watching our live coverage, welcome to you. Don't forget, you got questions or queries, or you just want to say how much you're enjoying your coverage of the UCI Cyclo-Cross World Cup, you can drop me a tweet. It's at World Cup Dan, or just use the hashtag CX World Cup to let us know what you think. Big Sven then warming himself up. He's made it pretty clear as well. I think he is back on form. Had some pretty bad luck at some of the rounds last year. It's safe to say there is the defending World Cup champion, Van der Haar, the Dutch national champion. And the riders slowly being called up. 3 minutes until we get underway here in Valkenburg. So there will be, you may just hear in the background, there is going to be a feed allowed in the pit area, but only after the first 2 laps are completed, and then that closes with 2 laps to go. But when the race is 21 degrees and fast and furious, they are going to need a feed probably some way through.
In de pitzone, met uitzondering van de eerste 2 rondes en de laatste 2 rondes.
Kevin Pauls for the Sunweb team. Phil Valsleben, German national champion and World Cup runner-up. Tom Muysen.
In Valkenburg.
Francis Moret there as well, the French champion. And Rob Peters completing that front row.
Alle grote mannen uit het veld staan hier op in de rij. Staan hier te wachten.
Getting ready for this short, sharp sprint up the hill under the finish arch, and then it's pretty much a 180-degree turn onto the grass and dropping back down towards the pit area. It's going to be vital to get yourself towards the front, because as they drop towards the pits, there is a small bottleneck and does cause a bit of a hold up. So on that front, just remember, on that front row, we have 3 World Cup winners from last season: Van der Haar, Moret, and Muysen winner in Nome, Moret winner in Namur, and Van der Haar won here last year in Valkenburg. He also won in Tabor. And
met deze marge voor de elite mannen in Valkenburg de wereldbeker.
And sadly missing from the race, but still very much in the pits, Niels Albert, the 2-time world champion and winner of 2 rounds last year. He was 3rd in the standings, but unfortunately missing with his heart problems, and they are underway. Good start from Lars van der Haar. And they're looking across, just jostling for position. Looked like a good start from Muysen to me. It is, though, Lars van der Haar, who leads them through. This is the bottleneck, the tight left-hander. Oh, there's problems already. Some of the riders going through the pits, and I think one or two riding through there. The commissaires might be looking for that. Oh, there's a ripped mech already. And that is Jonathan Page. Jonathan Page has ripped off his rear mech, and I suspect that might have been after they've gone through the pits, and if that's the case, he's got to go the whole way. Ooh. Ian Field there, the British champion, has moved up well, managing to avoid the real melee behind, which Martin Biener has not been so lucky with. Sven Nys is up there, but it's Lars van der Haar who has gone off the front. Has a little look. He is going from this from the gun. Van der Haar then is already stating his intentions. He wants to be the Dutch winner here. Best of the field. Chasing hard here, and it's already the chase coming. Musen leading them through. Marcel Meisen from Germany, also with a good start from the second row. Fabien Canal is up there as well. Ian Field just goes through, the British champion, and one of the Danish riders going through there too. Van der Haar then onto the run-up. And he's found a pretty good line so far. Big charge coming behind, trying to jostle for positions as they go into the descent. Sven Nys has moved that well, as has Murray. But if you're at the front of the race, if you stay at the front, you stay out of trouble. You can't get caught up with somebody falling in front of you. This nice and smooth round that hairpin to pick up a position or two. And the Belgians are to the fore here. Looks like Valsleben just back off the pace slightly. Van der Haar is attacking at every opportunity though. Coming up towards the split point, so this is halfway round the lap. And this will give us an indication of the gap. It's just going to be a handful of seconds. Lars van der Haar 4 seconds over Vermeersch. It is in second place. Then Moysen, then Marcel Meisen, Nys, Murray, Van Tunnert, Van Amerangen, Van Kessel, Pauls, Ernst, Sascha Weber, Rob Peters, Jens Adams. So, it is Netherlands, Belgium and Germany represented there in that top 10. Some of the other nations trying to move their way up to get a look in here. Come to the Baco Bridge. And Van der Haar has really gone off quick here. No doubt it'll be inspired by the crowd. Looking to do the double winner last season in very different conditions. It's beautiful sunshine here, 21 degrees. A little light breeze, nothing too strong. But interestingly, on some of these sections, it is still quite slippy. Ian Field riding strongly there. You just see now and again the riders just get caught out slightly by one or two sections, but Van der Haar attacking again. Every time he gets the opportunity, he puts on a little bit more pressure. He looks so comfortable on that first run-up, and you really aren't able to get the full picture of just how steep that is, I can tell you. He's onto the steps now, below the casino, and the chase is still being led by Tom Moysen. This is up there as well, so too is Van Toorne. Ernuts is in that group as well. Jim Ernuts for Sunweb Napoleon Games. And the French champion Moret starting to move up now as well. Look like Franzoy of Italy, also quite well placed. So chase is being led by the Belgians, really. Also up there, Ties van Emmerenven for the Telnet Fedea team, and Conor van Kessel. Gianni Vermeersch, also well placed, and stuck on the wheel of Moysen as they come up to complete the first lap.
Met Klaas van Toorne, we hebben nog 8 rondes gedaan. Corné van Kessel hierbij. Ook Jim Arnoud in deze groep. De laatste man die we voorbij zijn gekomen is juist als Fabien Canal.
Valsleben then in 12th place, just moving up slightly. Franzoy, Canal, Grand, Peters, Niels Waben rounds up the top 20 there. So very fast starting. Other riders picking out as we go through. Bart Ernuts in 27th place, Marius Gill of Poland 29th, Julien Taramaka of Switzerland 33rd, Ben Burden of Belgium in 34th, rider who does most of his racing now in the US. And Valsleben trying to pick his way through. Nace is some way back now in that melee, and just to give you a heads up, there are going to be 9 laps in this men's race, as we're about a lap and a third into the race itself. And the dust is starting to kick up there on that part of the trail as they come through. Van der Haar leads then from a big Belgian chase pack coming through. Moret and the two Dutchmen from Telnet Fedea very close behind as well, and Marcel Meisen, first rider coming through who's not from a Benelux country. So, Van der Haar on that run-up. It's closed right up behind, though. Second and third are being swallowed up by the chase group. It's still Moysen who leads them through, but now Ian Vermeersch are being caught up by Vermeersch's Sunweb Napoleon Games teammates, Van Toorne and Jim Ernuts. And Moret was also moving up there too. Van der Haar He's a very determined man. Oh, that's slightly out of control corner there from Vermeersch. One thing that does assure is no one's going to come past you. And it's just slipping out there. Desperately using the inside leg as an outrigger to keep the balance. Valsleben is starting to move up now, the German. Nace is in there too. Just trying to find some news of Jonathan Page, and he's gone through dead last. Some just over a minute and 15 down, so that's it's going to be a pick your way through the field for John Page. Now, after that rear mech got ripped off right at the start, well, we have Van der Haar joined now by Kevin Pauwels and Moisen. So, sorry, Vermeersch and Moisen coming through there. And no, just to correct the caption, sorry, that is Vermeersch in 4th place. It is Pauwels who's come up to join Van der Haar. Vermeersch in 4th place. You can just see coming through the pits, a few meters behind the lead 3 as they go over the Beko Bridge.
Achterin, dat is al op een seconde of 18 aankomen.
And Francis Moret for FDG. FR is also closing in on those leading positions. Then comes the chase, led by Van Kessel.
En dan ga ik er tegenaan. Voorstuk wordt gevoerd door
Valsleben
en
Van Engelen. Kevin Pauwels though for Sunweb Napoleon Games has moved to the front as we negotiate our way through that little off-canvas section and up the short power climb, putting the pressure on. Moisen responds, as too does Van der Haar. Chase now being led by the French champion, Moret. Vermeersch being picked up there by Moret, and Valsleben, the World Cup runner-up, lead through that big group. This is the tricky left-hander. Last year this caught out a lot of riders because it was slippery and sort of getting very close to that barrier. If you misjudge it, it's easy to end up in the crowd there. And our leading trio sprint onto the tarmac. They're just a couple of turns away from hitting the base of the climb up towards the finish line. Coming through, just saw a picture of Enrico Franzoi of Italy, so he's quite well placed. Our 3 leaders then hit the foot of the tarmac climb up towards the line, and Van der Haar has a little dig again, goes to the front. 7 laps to go, and the gap over the chasers is round about 6 seconds to Moret, Vermeersch and Valsleben. Then come the 2 Dutchmen for Telnet Fedea, and then Nace leading through that chase group. The French is trying to move up here as well with Canal. John Powers is up there as well. Jeremy Powers moving up, the US champion. Positioned himself well here over these opening couple of laps, starting from the second row. Powers just slipping out slightly there on that turn. Gotta say, that is so untidy looking from Vermeersch. The way he drags the bike round. I suspect it is calculated that no one can come past him, which is a bit cheeky, but seems to be working for him. But Van der Haar back to the front where he was from the gun. Pauls and Meissen came back to him, but Van der Haar has gone again here, trying to get himself clear on his own once again. Then behind the two Belgians comes Moret, leading the chase. So Pauls and Van der Haar putting in the fastest lap so far, 7:03. Pauls on that second lap to close up the gap for Van der Haar. Van der Haar, though, is trying to go again. Every time he gets the chance, just applies a bit of pressure onto the foot of the run-up. And at the moment, it's Pauls who can respond. Meissen just distanced ever so slightly. Don't forget, we'll be bringing you live coverage of the whole of the 2013-14, 2014-15 Cyclo-Cross World Cup round 2 on the 22nd of November from Koksijde in the sand dunes in Belgium, and then round 3 for the first time ever in Great Britain in Milton Keynes on the 29th of November. So plenty of action to come, but right here in the sunshine of Valkenburg. It's currently Lars van der Haar looking to have history repeat itself if he can. The winner of the opening round. In the 13-14 series. Now these three have opened the gap slightly over the chasers. We'll be able to tell you exactly what it is in a few seconds because they have gone through the intermediate timing point. The gap back to 4th place. It was around about 5 seconds to Murray. It's now 17 seconds, and it's Valsleben who's leading the chase. So these three, they're just having a little look across there, Van der Haar, to see if the others all do the work, and it's Valsleben, Moret coming through there, and then Vermeersch. And they similarly need to work together to try and close that gap. The two Dutch riders from Telnet Fidea working together. Van Ammenigen and Van Kessel trying to close up to these guys who are in 4th to 6th place. Van der Haar again goes to the front to pick up the pace out of the saddle on the tarmac, just injects a little bit more pace as they hit the bridge. And again, Pauls responds. And so too does Meissen. So those three all pretty evenly matched at the moment. We're coming up 20 minutes of racing so far. And riders here on their 3rd lap of 9. Lars van der Haar keeps going to the front, keeps applying the pressure, but his two companions keep responding. interesting to see the first two running disc brakes. No massive advantage or disadvantage, I would say, in terms of the weather conditions here. And Valsleben leading those chases. But they are just coming up towards the casino steps. So some way to go. Jeremy Powers, though, riding strongly there, the US national champion. The chases. Got six riders or so in that chase group. Valsleben just starting to distance Moret here, as the three leaders are coming onto the foot of the climb. So it'll be 6 laps to go for our leaders as they come up towards the finish arch. There's Pauls who moves to the front. Van der Haar again moves through. It's almost like it's a psychological statement from Van der Haar that he has to be the man that leads through each lap. Valsleben is in 4th spot here. Then comes Moret and Vermeersch, and they're going to be joined very shortly by Van Amerongen. Then comes Nijs, Van Tonnert, Van Kessel. Then comes Powers, Franzoy, Jens Adams. And there's 32 seconds covering our top 13 riders. Looks like a retirement out there. And that's the Czech national champion Martin Bina, who's out of contention now and out of the race. So it's not going to be a memorable opening round of the UCI Cyclo-Cross World Cup for the Czech Republic. Of course, the world champion Zdeněk Stybar has got a separated shoulder and so isn't racing, but congratulations to him from us here at Valkenburg on getting married. And hopefully he's going to be back on the bike and back on form in the not too distant future. Van der Haar then leading. Pauls just focused on his back wheel. Van der Haar has gone again. Just injects the pace once again, and it looks to me like Muysen might not be able to respond now. Can Pauls respond to that sudden burst of power from the Dutch national champion? Lars van der Haar. Just seems to find it a good route up that hill each time. Pauls and Muysen has come back. Then comes Valsleben. He's in no man's land at the moment, trying to bridge that gap. So Van der Haar from the development team Giant Shimano. World Cup champion. Last season winner in Valkenburg, Tabor and Zolder. Second in Rome. And of course the former under-23 world champion, two-time under-23 world champion. Oh, the elastic has snapped here for Tom Muysen. We're down to 2 now on the leaders. They come up towards the intermediate point. Van der Haar and Pauws. I think Muysen, unless he can find a second wind here to close that gap, is going to start to be distanced. Armenungen leading the chase on the slow-mo there. Back to the race live, and Van der Haar and Muysen are applying the pressure. He's having to dig deep here to try and bring himself back to those lead two. Van der Haar and Pauws. And Pauws coming in, that's just for a drink. Van der Haar just looks as he hits the Becco Bridge. Sees where Pauws is. Might have just caught a glimpse of Muysen as well. So we're bathed in sunlight here, 21 degrees. Very uncross-like weather here, and that is going to add its own pressures in terms of hydration and endurance. It looks at the moment like Van der Haar is coping pretty well with it. Don't forget, if you've got any questions or queries or comments about the race, you can use the hashtag CX World Cup or drop me a tweet at World Cup Dan. As we come towards the casino steps once again, Muysen, the skin suit unzipped right down to the bottom to try and keep cool. It's not often we see sweat dripping off. Oh! Pauws goes down very heavily there as the wheel slipped out. And that is the problem here. And Van der Haar is going to take advantage. I think the main effect there is going to be some disruption to Pauws' tempo, but he was going right from the top. Lost his control really from about halfway down the slope. And that has given Bas van der Haar the incentive to go on the attack once again. 5 laps to go. Muysen, who looked like he was tiring, has moved up to second place. Pauws is just going to sit on his wheel, I think, just to try and get his composure back. But the gap is 10 seconds. And it'll be interesting to see now what the gap is back to Valsleben. Valsleben comes through 21 seconds. So can he take advantage? If Muysen and Pauws start to tire, can Valsleben close in on a podium position here as Klaas Van Toornat goes through in 5th place, then Sven Nys in 6th, Van Amerongen in 7th, Van Kessel in 8th, Vermeersch in 9th, Moret in 10th, Powers in 11th, and Adams in 12th. Jeremy Powers is looking good here for a strong top 10 finish. Pauws looks to me like he's having a few problems there, trying to ride that section. But that is going to take a lot of energy. He's fishtailing across there. Muysen looking a little bit more comfortable, and he's opened the gap there over Pauws. Saw Muysen up high on the top, slightly drier line maybe. And Bowles is having to fight that bike all the way through there. Had to unclip. And then, of course, Meissen had closed the door on him going round the hairpin. No such problems, though, for Lars van der Haar. Just to give you an update further down the field, Boros has gone through in 15th, Canal 16th, Vauban 17th, Franzoy 18th, Jim Ernots in 19th, Blanc 20th, Weber 21st, Falashi 22nd, Papstra 23rd, Bart Ernots in 24th, Meisen 25th, Peters 26th, Zana 27th, Field in 28th, Van der Brand 29th, and Van Leeuwen in 30th. Back to the front of the race, or rather to second place, as Van der Haar has already crested the top of the run-up. Meissen and Pauls coming through here. Be interesting to see if Pauls has got any kind of problem with that that right leg where he came down heavily. Valsleben has the chance now to close in on the podium. Jordan Clark sending us a tweet. Yes, Ian Field, the British champion, is racing. Jordan, he is currently in 28th place. Van der Haar, though, is moving clear here, I think, of Meissen, and Pauls looking like he's struggling to stay. And Meissen, can Valsleben then start to reel in? The two Belgians stumbled there going into the run-up. So far, though, this man has not put a foot wrong. Lars van der Haar, the Dutch national champion, defending World Cup champion, and of course winner here in Valkenburg last season in the opening round of the 2013-14 World Cup. And he is looking strong at the moment. Meissen is in second spot. And the gap, 18 seconds. Back to Meissen. And that is quite substantial when you consider it was 10 seconds. So he's almost doubled his lead here, Lars van der Haar. Meissen then in second place. Winner in Nome won the final round of last season's World Cup. Takes a big long drink and trying to cool himself down. He's really been affected, it looks like, by the heat here. Bowles as well taking on some fluids. Van der Haar, though, looks comfortable. Meissen is really looking like he's feeling the temperature. Right from the start, he's been dripping with sweat. His skin suit's been unzipped right to the waist to try and get the air down. Van der Haar, though, being cheered on by the home crowd here. He will have so much encouragement here. The Dutch national champion. And up the steps in front of the casino. Little bit of a respite before we have that steep descent. Here we go. This, of course, is where Bowles had problems. Makes it look so easy as Van der Haar sprints out of the corner. Just a little dab there as he comes around the corner, carried maybe a tad too much speed through that hairpin, but back onto the tarmac. Lars van der Haar knows now, I think, this is his chance to get himself clear and give himself a big buffer over those chasing riders. Seems to just keep the pace going here. You see, just carried a little bit too much speed in. Just had to dab, but they're down here in the finish. They're banging the boards because with 4 laps to go, Lars van der Haar has taken control of this race. And the gap, I think, is going to have grown even more. And Valsleben is starting to close in on the podium positions. On the climb then, gritting his teeth. Tom Muysen trying to chase down, but the gap has got even bigger. It's another 8 seconds or so. It's been added to that lead. So van der Haar is just keeping the tempo so high. Valsleben, though, just 5 seconds off the podium. And then comes the chase. Klaas van Toornhout in 5th place. Sven Nys in 6th. Then come the 2 Dutchmen, Van Kessel and Van Amerken in 7th and 8th. And for you US fans, Jeremy Powers now up to 9th place, ahead of Vermeersch. Murray dropping back a little bit to 11th. Jens Adams in 12th. Interesting to see this time around, different approach from Pauwels and Muysen. Last time Muysen ran, Pauwels rode. This time it's roles reversed, and out of those two, I have to say Muysen looks stronger on both. But Valsleben is now within touching distance of the back wheel of Kevin Pauwels. How much has that crash had an effect on Kevin Pauwels? Went down hard. At the foot of the steep level descent from the Casino Plaza. Muysen has a look. I think he wants Pauwels to come through and take up the pace a little bit. Mouth open, trying to gasp down the air as much as possible. Pauwels just fixed focus on his back wheel, and then Valsleben is slowly but surely reeling them in. And the German national champion is getting it close. And in fact, I think he is going to make contact on the run up here. Philip Valsleben then closing in on Muysen and Pauwels. Little stumble there from Pauwels, but he kept his momentum. So yeah, Muysen there stumbling, and Pauwels still with him, looking to see who's coming through next. Van Toornhout is up next, and then will it be Nys? It is the Belgian champion. Living cyclocross legend Sven Nys, having somewhat better luck than last season. Little slip out there for Valsleben as he ran through. And I think, please forgive us, no disrespect to Lars van der Haar, but at the moment, this is where the race is. Because Lars van der Haar is a long way ahead now. He's gone through the intermediate split point. Here he is, the race leader. Down the bank in. And he'll go underneath the Bedco Bridge. And I suspect that lead is going to have gone up even further. It's 25 seconds at the end of the 5th lap. And it is now 32 seconds over Muysen and Pauls. Valsleben just 4 seconds behind them. Muysen then looking tired, but he's looked tired pretty much from lap 1. He's had that skin suit unzipped, been gassing down here. He had a little look behind and he saw Valsleben coming up, I think. And they're trying to keep the German at bay. Through the pits, and Pauls again goes in to get some refreshment. That is going to allow Valsleben to get even closer. He is going to join them as they go over the Beko Bridge. At that split point, just to update you on some of the other positions, Powers is in 9th place, Vermeersch 10th, Murray 11th, Adams in 12th, Mikkel Boros of the Czech Republic in 13th, and Tim Merlier of Belgium 14th, Bart Wellens 15th, Tim Ernst 16th, Niels Vabbens 17th, Fabien Canal 18th, Arnaud Grand 19th, Franzoy dropping down to 20th, Weber 21st, Peters 22nd, and Papstra in 23rd. So damage being done now behind it. Oh, Valsleben is not kept that contact with those two, and he's starting to come into the view of Van Turner. So Valsleben, the German champion for the BKCP Power Plus team, getting tracked down here by Klaas Van Turner, a teammate of Kevin Pauls with the Sunweb Napoleon Games racing team. As on the finish straight, the crowd starts to bang the boards. 3 laps to go for Lars van der Haar. We'll look to see, 32 seconds was the lead at the end, or sorry, at the intermediate checkpoint last time round. I can tell you we've already got 15 seconds on the clock. Oh, bad luck here for Sven Nys. Looks like he's dropped the chain. Mechanical problems for Sven Nys, and that is going to make the job even harder, and the gap has gone out even more, because now it's 41 seconds. Unbelievably, Van der Haar has taken another 9 seconds out of them. It's just a masterclass here from Lars van der Haar. Sven Nys was up there challenging in the top 5 positions. He's going to get overhauled here, I think, by Van Kessel and Van Amerongen, and maybe even Jeremy Powers. And if he has to run to the pits, he has got some way to go. He's got that long climb up to the finish straight to contend with, which will sap the energy. He has dropped down, I can tell you. Powers and Vermeersch have gone through. Then comes Jens Adams and Francis Moret. So Sven Nys has dropped out of the top 10. Moving up strongly though. Boros, Merlier up there. Nys has got the chain back on. He's going to come through 15th place behind Bart Wellens. Jim Aranos and Niels Svoben 16th and 17th, and Julien Arnaud Grand in the B&C colours there for Switzerland in 18th. Fabien Canal in 19th place. And Enrico Franzoi, the Italian, rounds out the top 20. Just an update for our Southern Hemisphere followers. It looks like Angus Edmond is struggling around here at the moment. As to Yu Takanuchi, the Japanese champion, still to see them coming through in the positions. For the British fans out there, Ian Field currently in 30th place. Marcel Meisen, who was right up there at the start, has dropped right back down now to 31st position, just ahead of Andreas Moser and Lucas Winterberg. And back to the battle for second place, which is being fought out here. Vantona moving through. Paus still up there. So too Moisen and Valsleben up there as well. So 4 riders in contention for 2 more podium positions. Van der Haar, I suspect, is going to be even further ahead at the intermediate. He has just gone through the halfway point of this lap. And it's not particularly that Van der Haar is going any quicker, still Paus with the fastest lap. It's just nobody else is being able to maintain the pace that Lars Van der Haar is keeping here. Some fantastic pictures from out on the course here in Valkenburg. Cresting the climb shoulder to shoulder as they come up. And these 4, I think, are going to be fighting this second spot. Here they go, though, through the intermediate timing point. And it's 58 seconds. So on that half lap, Van der Haar has taken 17 seconds out of the chasers. Or they've lost 17 seconds, however you want to wrap it up. Lars Van der Haar now is almost a minute ahead of his closest challengers. It is very much a battle for the placings here now, barring any accidents for Lars Van der Haar. Just to update you some of the other positions, Clement Lotterie in 38th place, Marius Gill 40th, Kenneth Hansson of Denmark in 41st, Ben Burden, the US-based Belgian, in 42nd, Jonathan Page, after that ripped off rear mech, is running in 43rd place. Terrible first lap for Jonathan Page, losing his rear mech. Lars Van der Haar up the casino steps. When he comes through the finish next time, he'll have 2 laps to go. Negotiates that tough left-hander which claimed Paus early in the race. Sprints out of the corner yet again. He tries to apply the pressure whenever he can. And Vantona is leading the chase here for second place. It's almost as if these guys have, I think they've surrendered to the fact they're not going to catch Van der Haar. They're now starting to ride a more tactical race for second spot, but they can't afford to be too tactical. They are only 13 seconds ahead of Ties van Amerongen. And some great news for US cyclocross fans. Jeremy Powers is up to 7th place. But you might just hear a rumble in the background. The banging on the boards has started because Lars van der Haar has gone under the finish line with 2 laps to go. And I think it is going to be in excess of a minute lead now. Van Toorne, Klaas van Toorne, leading the chasers. They're still on the hairpin sections at the bottom of the climb, and the 2 Dutchmen are chasing here. So our intermediate didn't actually pick up Van Kessel. And Van Kessel and Van Amerongen are coming through in 6th and 7th. Powers then actually in 8th place at the moment. And the 2 Dutchmen are very much in with a shout of the podium here. Whisper it at the moment, but there is a chance of a Dutch 1, 2, 3 if these 2 can make contact. And they are just over. They're just 2 seconds behind now. With 2 to go.
Tussen de 2 mannen van Telenet Idea en de groep daarvoor is nog maar 5 seconden.
Moisanen leading them out again through the switchbacks. This still treacherous under the tyres, you can see, despite the sunshine. Still slippery. The 2 Dutchmen are right on their wheels now. And it looks like 4 will become 6. It will. So there are 2 riders from Sunweb Napoleon Games, 3 riders from Telnat Fidea, 1 rider from BKCP in that group of 6, battling it out for 2nd and 3rd place. Lars van der Haar is looking extremely comfortable at the moment at the front of the race. Now, can Ties van Amerongen and Gunnar van Kessel close that gap now? Tantalising at the moment, just that few meters to close up for the 2 big Dutchmen. And this is where all the action is really now in the race. It's this fight for 2nd place. Just coming out to round off the top 30 so far coming through. Bart Ernst has gone through, Marcel Meissen, Andreas Moser, Ian Field through there in 30th place. I think the crowd has started to sense now that Van Amerongen and Van Kessel are in with a shout here, and they're starting to get behind the 2 Dutch riders in the attack now coming from Walsleven. I don't think he wants to wait for 2 more riders to come out here and join the mix. German national champion, runner-up in the World Cup. But he didn't take any wins last year, but he was Mr. Consistency in terms of his placings. And in cross racing, that can pay dividends because, as we've seen from Sven Nys, a little bit of bad luck drops you down through the field so quickly. Van der Haar has a lap and a half to go. He's gone through the intermediate. And the clock has started to run now to see where the chasers are. And it's 58 seconds is the gap. So they've pegged back a little bit of time here. Valsleben has managed to shave a little bit of time off that lead. Van Amerongen and Van Kessel still 10 seconds behind this group of 4 riders. So the little injection of pace that came from Valsleben has just stretched the gap again. Back to the 2 Dutchmen, closed in slightly on Van der Haar. But Van der Haar basically has to have an absolute nightmare now. Looks like we're down to 37 riders on course. I think we got at 80% operating. Powers still running in 8th place. He's just 12 seconds down on the 2 Dutchmen, but Van der Haar up onto the Casino Plaza. And once he's down this bank safely, he'll only have to deal with it one more time. Super smooth through there. Again, out of the saddle and sprinting away. And it is going to be history repeating itself, I think, here for Lars van der Haar. Every time he gets the chance, you can see he raises himself out of the saddle just to keep the tempo high. Little look down at the bike, hopefully no mechanical problems at this late stage. But the development team, Giant Shimano rider, has a look across, and there's nobody in sight at the moment as the crowd cheers him on up the climb for the last but one time. He'll get the bell this time. Lars van der Haar, the Dutch national champion, has 1 lap to go. Some 28 seconds slower than the fastest lap that lap round. And the gap has come down again between the chasers, and it is now contact for Van Amerongen and Van Kessel. So we now have 6 riders in contention for 2nd and 3rd place with just 1 lap to go, and Telnat Fidea with the numerical advantage. 3 riders in there. Sunweb Napoleon Games with 2. The man who is isolated is Philip Valsleben. One minute is the gap. Jeremy Powers has gone through in 8th place with 1 lap to go. Jens Adams in 9th place. Vermeersch in 10th, Merlier in 11th, Borosch in 12th, Bart Wellens in 13th place. But this is the race now, really, the battle for 2nd place. The final lap. And it's Klaus van Turnhout who is trying to apply the pressure on everyone else. Bowles is out there, so too is Ties van Amerongen. Looks like Van Kessel might be struggling to stay with that speed, and Valsleben as well. So the World Cup runner-up last season doesn't look to me like he's going to be able to feature on the podium again unless he can find something special over this last two-thirds of the race, two-thirds of the last lap rather of the race. Klaas van der Aert over the little bridge there, again applying the pressure. Moisen responds again, so too does Powell, so too do Van Amerongen and Van Kessel into the run-up. Back down the field, Murray gone through in 14th, Jim Ernst 15th, Vulven 16th, Graham 17th, Fabien Canal 18th, Twan van der Baan 19th, and Enrico Franzoi in 20th place. Keeping one eye on the split point as well for the progress of Lars van der Haar. On to the final lap goes Simon Zana and Ian Field in 29th and 30th place. Van der Haar is through the intermediate point, so he has half a lap to go. He had a minute at the end of the last lap. It's the three Belgians fighting it out for second and third place. And now Van Kessel it is who's chasing, and it looks like looked to me maybe like Moisen was looking for his teammates to help. Oh, and look at this, the attack comes in from Van Kessel, and the Telnet Fedea boys are going to try and rough up the two Sunweb Napoleon Games riders. They have that one rider advantage, and it seems to be paying off at the moment. 48 seconds is the gap to the race leader, Lars van der Haar. So barring any problems on this last lap, he should still be in there. Pauls is taking the race to Telnet Fedea, but now it is rider number 22, Corne van Kessel, who's in second place. Then comes Pauls and Moisen. Looks like Sven Nys is out of the race with one lap to go. Pauls moves. Expect to see another attack come from the yellow and turquoise of Telnet Fedea as they're over the bridge for the last time, over the Becco Bridge. Pauls then still heading them up. Oh, big problems from Moisen, nearly came off. And that meant that really just to take avoiding action as much as anything, Van Kessel had to accelerate, and that's moved himself clear now of Moisen. Lars van der Haar is up the casino steps for the last time. I think he's riding this last lap relatively conservatively because he knows he's got a big buffer, 48 seconds. Pauls has got the gap here on Van Kessel. Sounded like the gears were playing up there on Van Kessel's bike, possibly. And it's still very much up for grabs here, second and third place on the podium. I don't think there's going to be any doubt, though, of the race winner, Lars van der Haar. Still out of the saddle, still sprinting. Pauls safely through This time around, it looks like he might have second place sewn up. Los van der Haar, with one more corner, hits the bottom of the climb. And he has the luxury of the time to smile, the time to celebrate the Dutch national champion, the development team giant Shimano. Los van der Haar wins round 1 of the UCI Cyclo-Cross World Cup here in Valkenburg. The gap has definitely come down because Van Haar just throttled back there, but the gap will be slightly deceptive on how dominant he's been. Kevin Pauls of Sunweb Napoleon Games is going to take second place. It's going to be what might have been if he hadn't have crashed out. And third place is going to go to the Netherlands and Conor van Kessel for Talna Fedea. Then comes Van Torna, then Moysen, Van Amergen. Valsleben takes 7th place. Eighth place is going to go to Jens Adams. 9th place to the US champion Jeremy Powers. It's a pretty good day for US Cyclo-Cross. 10th place will go to Gianni Vermeersch, who was such an animator early on in the race. Tim Merlier takes 11th place. Bart Wellens will take 12th, the former world champion. Coming up then towards the finish line, 12th place for Michael Barosh and 13th for Jim Arnouds. So Francis Moret has dropped down somewhat. He's just onto the bottom of the climb there. He's going to be outside the top 15 is Moret. Niels Vauban coming up for 15th. Moret takes 16th. 17th for the Swiss rider Grand. 18th Fabien Canal. And 19th place for Twan van der Brandt. Enrico Franzoi has been firmly stuck in 20th place for nearly all the race. No surrender of that position. Thomas Papstra in 21st. And moving up a couple of places here, Bart Arnouds on that last lap has moved up to 22nd. Taramaka, 23rd. Another sprint for positions. Rob Peters is going to hang on. And punch in the air there. Andreas Moser pretty happy with 25th place. Patrick van Leeuwen takes 26th. Just looking to see how these last few placings play out here. This is going to be Marcel Meisen, who was right at the front early on. Paid the price though, 27th place, and sprinting home. Sascha Weber will hold off Simon Zana on the climb. And I think 30th place is going to go to the British national champion climbing up here, Ian Fields. Will round out the top 30. Tough day at the office there for Fieldy by the look of things. He will be looking forward, no doubt, to the first ever visit to British shores of the Cyclo-Cross World Cup as we head to Milton Keynes at the end of November. But between now and then, we have Koksijde in the sand dunes. One of the greatest sporting events you could ever go to. If you can't make it, make sure you join us for the live coverage. Javier Ruiz de la Renga takes 31st place for Spain, and Melvin Roulier in 32nd. And this is going to be Lucas Winterberg. I think he's our last man out there on the course coming in. So tough, tough racing. The unexpected challenge of 21-degree heat. And is this where the race was won? Pauws and Van der Haar were clear. He went down, and Van der Haar just had that little look back, and it was almost to say, that's it, that's my chance. He put the hammer down and built up over a minute's buffer coming into the final lap. It was only 26 seconds in the end over Pauws, but really it could have been 26 minutes. Such was the dominance of the Dutch rider. And for the second year running, he is the king of the Kouwberg. Second year running, he takes the first leader's jersey. And we are going to hear from our race winner right now.
Lars van der Haar, a terrific display what you did on your Kouwberg, if we may say that.
After the first lap, I just felt I could win today, and that I would have to make the race, and it just went perfect. Didn't expect it to be this early alone, because I felt that Pauws was really strong. But probably I pushed him a little bit too far, and he took some risk and he crashed, so then I was alone.
How do you do it to cope that well with the heat? Because I didn't see you take any drink bottle at all.
I didn't dare, because if you miss the bottle, you have to stop and change bike. So for 1 hour you don't need any drink. So the only persons that drink are the ones that are feeling the heat and feeling that that they need some more to go to the end, and I didn't need it.
Blijkbaar voel jij de warmte niet, hè? Want je nam geen enkele drinkbus aan. De rest deed dat wel, vaak zelfs. Rijd jij rond met een soort hitteschild? Kan je beter tegen de warmte dan de rest?
Nou ja, ik voel vaak dat als je drinkt, dan heb je het gevoel dat je wat meer nodig hebt om te finishen. En je hebt het niet nodig voor 1 uur. En je gaat dan ook nog eens extra over je toer als je nog eens een keer gaat drinken. En als je die bidon mist, moet je stoppen, anders word je gedisqualificeerd. Dus ik wilde het risico niet nemen en ik heb het helemaal niet nodig gehad. Je kunt 1 uur makkelijk zonder drinken.
Vorig jaar was dit het eerste stapje richting eindzege in de wereldbeker. Wordt het dit jaar ook zo?
Geen idee, er is een wereldbeker minder, maar nee, ik heb geen idee. Laten we eerst maar gewoon lekker verder gaan. Ik ben heel blij dat ik hier heb kunnen demonstreren en dat ik echt hier een hele goede wedstrijd heb kunnen rijden. Lekker losjes kunnen fietsen en echt mijn ding hebben kunnen doen. En we gaan nu gewoon verder weer met het seizoen. Dit was mijn eerste piek en we gaan kijken of ik dit niveau vol kan houden.
Proficiat met die demonstratie. Congratulations on your performance.
Thank you.
So that is our race winner. There's the unofficial results. Lars van der Haar, 26 seconds ahead of Kevin Pauws. Good day in the end for the Dutch, taking first and third. Corne van Kessel picking up the third spot on the podium ahead of Klaas van Toorne and Tom Moysen. Thies van Ammingen in 6th. Philip Valsleben 7th, Jens Adams in 8th, Jeremy Pauws in 9th, and Gianni Vermeersch in 10th. Merlier and Wellens and Ernst also up there as well. So it's interesting if you take the Belgians out of that. There's an interesting mix. The Dutch doing pretty well. The best other nation, if you like, being Germany, with Philip Valsleben's 7th place, but going through there. It's 9th place in the end for Jeremy Pauws against the European powerhouses. So great ride from him. And going through there, Mosa was very pleased with that finish as well. The crowd starting to form around the podium though.
Attentie runners voor de
Prepare for
speciale tune,
the
de
presentation
opening van de
ceremony.
huldigingsceremonie.
Kevin Powell's fan club in place. And suitably epic introduction for our top 3 riders. So, as we come to a close here in Valkenburg, we look forward to round 2, Coxsider in the sand dunes, coming up 22nd of November. So a little bit of a wait for you cyclocross fans out there in terms of the World Cup, but here is the podium presentation for the race here at Kalberg. 3rd place, Corne van Kessel for Telnet Fedea and the Netherlands.
Geweldige prestatie voor de man, woonachtig in Herentals, afkomstig uit Veldhoven. In 2nd place.
2nd spot.
De tweede
and
plaats.
He has to think maybe what might have been if it hadn't been for that crash.
Naar Kevin Pauwels.
Kevin Pauwels with his fan club here, understandably a little bit disappointed, but his fan club will still cheer him.
Voor Kevin Pauwels, ook vorig jaar tweede.
But there's only one king of the Kalberg here today.
De winnaar van vandaag,
winner from last season and the defending champion, Dutch national champion for the development team, John Shimano, Lars van der Haar, 2 years in a row then.
We gaan de felicitaties
Congratulations to Lars van der Haar.
Van Annick, Rachel, Shannon mogen de prachtige bloemenruikers gaan uitreiken aan nummers 3, 2 en 1.
The Benelux domination of men's cycling, very different to the range of countries that we saw across the top 10 in the women's race. Belgium and Holland still very much the countries to beat.
Felicitaties voor Kevin Pauwels.
Bowles, understandably, is going to be a little bit disappointed with that 2nd place when he was really the man that could match Van der Haar for most of the race.
Vorig jaar wist te winnen, vandaag zijn tweede opeenvolgende zege pakte. Hier in Valkenburg aan de geul, Lars van der Haar.
Pretty sure that's Corne van Kessel's first World Cup podium as well, so great result for him in last season, 12th in the World Championships, silver medalist in the Dutch National Championship, so great result from Corne van Kessel. Lars van der Haar carrying on from where he left off last season as the defending World Cup champion.
Ook voor Kevin Pauwels. Voor Lars van der Haar.
Last season, Coxsider was where Niels Aber took advantage and closed the gap on Lars van der Haar. Of course, no Niels Aber this season, sadly out of racing now with a heart condition. So the Belgians will look to strike back on home territory, but there we go. Lars van der Haar, 80 points for the win. Pauwels, Van Kessel, Van Toorne, Moysen, Van Ammeringen, Walsleben, Adams. Jeremy Powers up there in 9th place and Vermeersch in 10th. The sprint just going back there that got third place for Van Kessel, but the winner ahead of Paus. Had so much time to celebrate there on the climb up to the finish line. Lars van der Haar, another Kouwberg masterclass for the Dutch national champion, and a little bit of extra weight training for him with the keg of beer. And some serious carbo loading ahead of the next round. So, thanks for joining us here for round one of the 2014-15 UCI Cyclo-Cross World Cup. I've been Dan Jarvis. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage, and we will be joining you next month for round two in Koksijde, Belgium. Thank you for joining us.